Okay, sige, start na ta. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the physiology of the bones. Okay, so it is just a short topic before tamo adto sa kanang other part, and this is also a good intro for your histology. Okay, so let's begin. So bones is a connective tissue. Okay, so bones is classified as a connective tissue. Okay, it's a connective tissue because of how it its cells are arranged. So when cells and an extracellular matrix, when the tissue has a cell and an extracellular ground substance, that tissue is considered a connective tissue. Okay? For the case of the bone, your osteocytes are embedded in a extracellular ground matrix in the form of phosphorus and calcium. The ratio of calcium to phosphorus is 1 is to 2. Okay? For every single phosphate ion, there are two calcium ions. Those intracellular ions are what makes the extracellular matrix that makes your bones a connective tissue. Okay? So anything with connective with an extracellular ground substance is considered a connective tissue. Good examples of this is your bones. Like I said, it's made up of a mineralized connective tissue. Second is your cartilage. Your cartilage is made up of kanang cartilage. The cartilage that makes up your kuan. Kanang cartilage is a form. The connective tissue for cartilage is collagen. Your fats are also kuan because it has a extracellular ground substance in the form of lipids, ligaments as well. It has hyaline fibers. Okay, so kuan na siya kanang these are all connective tissue because of the presence of an extracellular ground substance or matrix. Okay, so bones are connective tissue in a mineralized intracellular matrix. They are very tough, and the extracellular material is composed of a composite of calcium and phosphorus with a ratio of 2 is to 1. So 2 calcium for every 1 phosphorus. Okay, so kuan function, it provides structure and shape of the body. So the shape of the animal's body is based on its skeletal system. Protects delicate organs and structures. So, kuan, we all know that your skull, your rib cage, your pelvic girdle or your pelvic bones, and your spine are actually all kanang help protect delicate structures in your body. So, your skull protects your brain, or your calvarium protects your brain, your rib cage protects your lungs and your heart, your your spine protects your spinal cord, the spinal collar. Then the pelvic inlet or the pelvic bones actually protect your reproductive organs. So very important na sila. Okay? Next, they protect delicate structures. Next, they are hematopoietic sites. So do you know what the word hematopoietic is? Dili kay may siya mo rhyme og words ha. What is hematopoietic? What is hematopoietic?
Maghimog blood, Doc.
Very good. Hematopoietic is the process of not building blood but building blood cells. Okay? The pluripotent stem cells that create your blood is actually found in your bones. So kanay mo mga long bones, they not only serve function of protection, they also help produce the blood cells in the form of your bone marrow. Okay? So bone marrow is the substance inside your bones that help create the blood cells. Okay? So, guys, by the way, familiar na mo of the word diplo in your anatomy? Nakadaong na mo diplo? Diplo, D-I-P-L-O. Okay, so before na mo discuss og diplo, give me an example of flat bone. Can you give me an example of a flat bone?
Scapula, Doc.
Scapula, what else?
Skull, Doc.
Skull.
Yes, your skulls are actually kanang flat bones. Then, you have your ribs, di ba? Flat bones na sila, right? So students, if you have the thing about skull, your scapula, and your ribs is that they are flat but they are hollow. Inside those hollow flat bones are bone marrow. If a bone marrow is sandwiched between two flat bones, that is called a diplo. Or a diplo na bone marrow. So to, inside your bones are bone marrow. If the bone marrow is sandwiched, gisandwich siya between two layers of flat bones, that is called your diplo. A good example of diplo is the bones found in your kaning rib cage. Imong rib cage na dihay mga diplo that help kanang sandwich or protect the bone marrow. Okay? Then lastly, calcium reserve. So your not only calcium, guys, your bones are actually a primary area of deposition for certain na mga minerals such as calcium, potassium, magnesium, and the other minerals. But primarily, when we're talking about your bones, they're the primary kanang area for your for your phosphorus and calcium. Okay? So your bones actually store excess calcium and phosphorus in order for them to be used later during emergencies. Okay? That is why, students, if ever you work in a dairy industry where animals that produce lots of milk are found and you don't supplement them with enough calcium, you will find yourself surrounded by lame animals. Okay? Ang ano man, they keep producing milk, and if there is no source of calcium for them, they would cannibalize or reabsorb the bones in order to get enough calcium, and you are left with very weak animals in terms of their skeletal system. Do you follow? Follow, mga students? Okay, so types of bones. Excuse me, 1 minute. Kanang the types of bones are your short bones. So good example of your short bones are your metatarsals. They are short bones. Your coccyx is a short bone. Part of your spinal, the vertebral bones are also short bones. Next, you have irregular bones that have unique shape. Example of this is, ano sa example of irregular bone? Anyone?
Oxcoxae, Doc.
Oxcoxae, yes. It's also an irregular bone. Good example is your jaw is actually an irregular bone. Weird siya forma. Okay? Then, of course, flat bones. You have your calvarium, scapula, your ribs are actually flat bones. Next, special bones for other animals. So, other animals have special bones such as your Oscordis. Isa itong na Oscordis, guys? Kisa ito na Oscordis?
Cattle, Doc.
Cattle or large ruminants. Small ruminants do not have Oscordis, such as goats and kanang sheep. Wala na sila Oscordis. Ospines is present in all mammals except kinsa gaytong mga animals na way Oscordis? Ay Ospines. Sa domestic animal na way Ospines?
Pigs, Doc.
Pigs? Who else? Why di Ospines ang pig? Ay, sa ako check. Wala ba? Oh, wala jud di ay. So wala di sila ikuan. Okay? Ang other unsa pa laing animals na walay Ospines? Wala. Uy, ang others.
There's horses. Ay, Doc.
Horses, very good. Kay horses have vascular o sige na nga o sige ang type ilang penis kana vascularized penis like just like in people. Okay? So, next, ostrostry is common in sa animal na yung ostrostry? Ostrostry. Asa man ang ostrostry?
Pigs, Doc.
Pigs, very good. Then, of course, pneumatic bones that are common in birds and certain species of reptiles. Ang ubang reptiles na sila yung pneumatic bones na sa uban dili na. Okay, so mga crocodilians wala na sila yung pneumatic bone. Usually kana lang mga birds na dyan na pneumatic. Okay? Any questions so far? So kana sila, those are your pneumatic bones. Those are your special bones that is present only for unique animals. Okay? So, by the way, what is the functional unit of bone? So, your functional unit of bone is your Haversian system, or in histology, it's also called the osteon. Osteon. In other books, it's called the Haversian canal system. In other books, it's called the osteon. Osteon. So when they ask you what is the functional unit of the bone, the functional unit is the Haversian canal system or the osteon. You will learn more of this in your kaning histology. Okay? So, cells involved in bone function. So, the generic cell in your bones are called osteocytes. From the word osteo, meaning bones. Next is cytes, meaning cells. They're the primary cell in your bone that help maintain the Haversian canal system. So, one Haversian canal system can have hundreds to a dozen osteocytes. Okay? Next, the osteoclast. The osteoclast is the primary phagocytic cell present in bone and is the one responsible for remodeling excess bone. So from the word class means they are highly phagocytic na bone cells. If they ask you, what are the highly phagocytic bone cells? That is your osteoclast. So what they do is that they will phagocytose certain types of bone cells or the extracellular materials of your bones in order to release calcium into the bloodstream. So when Doc Phil asks you what cell in the bone has a hypercalcemic effect, what would be your answer? What would be your answer? Ah? What's that? Your osteoclast. Hypercalcemic man. Okay? Your hypercalcemic are your osteoclast and they're greatly influenced by your they're greatly influenced by your kaning parathyroid. Okay? The osteoblast is the chief builder cell in the bone and remodels bone tissue from cartilage. Okay? So, ang cartilage, connective tissue, dili. Anyone?
Yes, Doc.
Why is it a connective tissue?
Kay naa siya'y chondrocytes.
Chondrocytes?
Doc. Nga,
Huh? Na siya'y composed of an extracellular ground substance in the form of hyaline. Hyaline ang iyang extracellular ground substance. By the way, students, if I ask you, what is the atypical connective tissue? What would be your answer?
Blood vessel na, Doc.
Huh?
Is it blood
Atypical
vessel?
connective tissue.
Mao ng blood, Doc.
Yes, very good. Your blood. Students, blood is considered an atypical connective tissue because your blood, it only becomes a connective tissue during injury. So your blood is an atypical connective tissue because it only becomes a connective tissue during injury. And its extra ground substance is fibrin. Unsa to yung extra ground substance? Fibrin. So, the presence of fibrin in blood makes it a connective tissue, specifically an atypical connective tissue. Any questions so far? Wala na questions? So later on, you would know what cells are active during the phase of bone healing. Okay? So you will learn more about osteoblasts, etc. Okay? When bone is reabsorbed to the bloodstream, there will be an increase in serum calcium levels or there will be hypercalcemia. The activities of the bone cells are greatly influenced by the levels of thyroid and parathyroid hormones. So, your thyroid hormone influences specifically your calcitonin, influences the strengthening of your bones, while your parathormone or parathyroid hormone is actually responsible for the kanang thinning or weakening of your bones. So, you will know which cells influence which later on. Okay? The activities of bone cells are greatly influenced by thyroid and parathyroid hormone. So for thyroid, it is calcitonin. For parathyroid, that is parathyroid hormone or parathormone. Any questions so far? So this is the cross section of the bone. So later on in your anatomy, you're taught about the layers of the bones. Ha? So din ako magtudloan na. Okay, so what are the layers of your bone, students? What are the layers of your bones? So, sa may topmost layer of your bones, uy, mo pa mga anatomy. Nay, nag-answer dito sa chat. Wala mo so. Guys, anyone, what's the most superficial layer of your bones? Periosteum, ha? So, dapat kabaw na mo na ha, pero di na ako yung mag-discuss na. Okay? So, this is the version canal system. Okay? So, nutrition of bone. So, bone receives blood directly from the nutrient line. So, do you know what a nutrient line is? It is the blood vessel organ where it will receive its nourishment. So, that is what you call the nutrient line. The other one, the opposite of a nutrient line is the functional line. So the functional line is the part of the organ where it processes the blood. So example, lungs. Ang lungs or the heart has the nutrient line in a form of coronary system or the coronary blood vessels, while the functional part of the lungs is from your vena cava up to your aorta and vice versa. Okay? So the nutrition, it is important, students, that in bone, that you should know that your bone has a nutrient line. Doc, what are the implications, Doc, of bone having nutrient line? Compared to other types of connective tissue, bone has a nutrient line. So that means of all the other connective tissue, bone is the fastest to heal. Sa to? Kanang bone is the fastest to heal because of the presence of a nutrient line. That nutrient line will provide the bones nutrition and nutrients it needs to heal. Compared to other tissues such as such as your ligaments or your cartilage, they heal slowly because they rely on simple diffusion from the bloody fluids in order to heal properly. Okay, that is why moingon sila, si Lebron na piang 2 months lang, pwede na siya mag-practice ug balik. While for ACL tears, kanang I don't know the cruciate ligament tear, kanang acute crucial ligament tear, it takes almost a year for them to go back to because like I said, cartilage do not have nutrient lines. They rely on diffusion, while bones have nutrient lines that makes them heal faster. Okay, do you follow? Follow the students. Okay, let's continue. So this is the typical bone. Growth apparatus of bones. Okay? The growth apparatus of bones. The growth apparatus of bones is facilitated by the epiphyseal plates, a specialized cartilage present inside the bone that promotes and allows growth of bones. The closing of these plates will be influenced by the onset of puberty. So guys, we'll be discussing the growth apparatus of bones. So, kabaw matano from children, mutubo ta, mutaas ta og kalit. Pero ang question is, do we know the physiology involved in the growth of your bones? Okay? Remember, students, when we're talking about bones, it is a constant cycle of healing and destruction. Meaning, bone is constantly being destroyed and rebuilt every time in your body. Okay? And that is where your growth apparatus comes in. Okay? So a growth apparatus is a specialized area of the bone that actually allows the bone to grow. It allows it to grow because that part of the bone is made up of cartilage. Cartilage, unlike that of a bone, is very soft. It can actually stretch and calcify. When the epiphyseal plate will stretch, it makes the bone longer. And when it becomes longer, it will start to calcify, giving you the sensation or the ability to grow. That is why a 3-year-old child can still grow into a adult because their epiphyseal plates have not yet closed. Okay? So for humans, for ladies, kano sa man mo close inyong epiphyseal plates? Are your epiphyseal plates still open? Ladies? Ladies and gentlemen, wala.
21 for gents, Doc.
Yes, for gentlemen, our epiphyseal plates, for male people, our epiphyseal plates will start growing after puberty. That is why if you notice in the schools, kanang adolescent males, kanang mga schoolers na males are actually shorter compared to the female because their epiphyseal plates have not yet opened. But by the time they reach puberty, they would have something called a growth spur. A growth spur na nila, that is actually their epiphyseal plates growing. That's why suddenly, mutaas na ang mga laki. Okay? For females, it is the opposite. Your at around 4 to 7 years old, 4 to 7, depende sa tao, for females, 4 to 7 years old, mo start na nag-grow ilang mo start na nag-open ilang epiphyseal plates. And it will close the moment they reach menarche. Do you know what menarche is? Anyone? Anyone? Wala mo ka ba sa menarche? Mga ladies, wala mo na aging menarche diha?
First menstruation period, Doc.
Yes, so that is your menarche. So, kana inyong first menstruation, mo close na yung epiphyseal plates. Mao nang hinay na mumutubo after menstruation. Okay? Balisan sa gentlemen. Kaya nga mo start may grow after puberty, then we only stop growing during 21 na namo or around, ang uban ganit, 25 years old, mutubo pa. Okay, so wala na dito yung pag-asa guys ha. Sorry na lang dyan, okay? I don't make up the rules. Tig-ko na dyan ko, tig-relay na dyan ko sa news na dili na mutubo ang mga ladies. Kasi maglagot mo na ako. Diba? Nasad si Miss Tutor. Ganapa dyan ka mutubo, Miss Tutor? Taas pa magay ka na ako. Ikaw, Cello, ganapa ka mutubo? So, yeah. I'm not saying you will stop growing, pero ang imong long bones, diha ra yun mo stop growing. But you still have other parts. Your spine will still grow. You still grow a few inches after after 21. Even for males and females. Okay? So, epiphyseal plates ra na sila tanan guys ha. So, what are the epiphyseal plates made up? Epiphyseal plates made up, they're made up of cartilage. Okay? So, fracture. So, let's talk about fractures. So, fractures are a break in the continuity of the bone. There are many types of fractures depending on severity: green stick, transverse, stress fracture, oblique fracture, and comminuted fracture. Okay, so you have to identify which type of fracture. Okay, so nara. Okay, moving na to, mga na yung manggawas. Fracture healing. So, the first stage of fracture healing is the hematoma phase, followed by the soft callus formation. Third is the hard callus formation, and of course, the most important is the bone remodeling. So, you need to identify which of the cells are involved in every phase of fracture healing. So, the first stage is the hematoma stage. So, during that hematoma stage is also called the inflammatory stage. So, you will find the 5 cardinal signs of inflammation. So, what are the 5 cardinal signs of inflammation, guys? 5 na sila ha, dili na 4. Go.
Rubor, calor, tumor, dolor, and punctulosa.
What's that? What's the last one?
Rubor,
The last one lang.
punctulosa, or no more, Doc?
No more. Very good. No more is loss of function. No more function. Very good. Ha? So, tumor, rubor, tumor, o dolor, and the loss of function. So, rubor is the redness caused by the surge of histamine and increase in the vascular permeability. With the increase in blood circulation comes the increase in heat. That is your calor. From the word calorie, calor, hotness of the area. Next is tubor. Tubor is from the word tubud or tubor, to build up or swell up with water. Okay? And of course, dolor comes from the word dolor, meaning pain. That is why, students, if you have a classmate named Dolor, mostly sa una, basta sakitan gani ang mama pagpaanak sa iyang anak, iyan ang itawag og dolor or dolores if babae. Okay? So if init ganig ulo, mo na gitawag og calor, kay init og ulo. Okay? And no more. So no more is loss of function. Okay? Those 5 cardinal signs of healing, students, are actually due to they're actually part of the healing process. Without those 5 signs of signs of inflammation, healing for that part of the body would be very slow. So slow ra kay ng healing if dili na siya mahitabo ang kanang inflammation. So with no inflammation, healing will last longer. Okay, that is why, students, if an animal is immunocompromised, inflammation is reduced. Example, maghatag mo og kanang steroids. Steroids, di ba? Steroids will reduce the inflammation and reduce the immune response. That is why healing is delayed if you are giving the animal steroids. Okay? Next is soft callus formation. So soft callus, what is the callus made up? Do you know what callus is? Or in Bisaya, kalyo. Or, kung sa ganun na sa Bisaya ang callus? Kubal. Ansa to rin here?
Kubal.
Kubal. So, kubal siya, ha? So, it's the same kubal that you feel in your hands if you keep working hard. That callus is made up of cartilage. It's soft because it's made up of cartilage. Okay? The cartilage is being built by a cell known as the chondroblast. Again, the cartilage is being built by a substance called chondroblast. Okay, that is for soft callus formation. So the only cell active during soft callus formation is the chondroblast. Okay. Next, hard callus. The hard callus is when the calyo or the cartilage starts to calcify. The process is called calcify when the cartilage is being replaced with calcium and phosphorus, or specifically calcification can also be called mineralization. So once gani mo calcify or more mineralize na ang hard callus, it's already called a hard callus phase. The active cells during this part is 1, chondroclast. What does the chondroclast do? Anyone? Sige, buhat ang chondroclast. Anyone? Hello, what makes the hard callus?
Para
Eh?
siguro sa kuan.
Sorry, di ko kadung ni mo Vincent. O sa to Vincent?
Ay. Wala, Dok.
Sa man? Ayun nagkagawa. Resorb? Yes.
But,
So if the sakto na resorb. So if the osteoclast resorbs bones, the chondroclast will reabsorb cartilage. So guys, kailangan dyan na i-reabsorb ang cartilage because cartilage and bone cannot occupy the same space. So the cartilage needs to be reabsorbed as the new bone is being built. Think of your cartilage like a scaffold. Kailan mo si scaffold, guys? Mura siyang frame ba? It's like a frame where you build a building. You need a scaffold or a frame before you can build the building. They will act as a support while the building is still being built. Once the building is already built, iyan na din ang ibiraang, iyan na din ang maguba na din na ang scaffold. Same sa with your bones. If the bones is still being built, cartilage is still present, but it is being reabsorbed. Once the callus has been reabsorbed, it will become hard callus. Okay? And finally, the final phase of bone healing is the bone remodeling phase. The bone remodeling phase means that all the bones or ossification have already been completed, and excess bones that does not conform to the shape of the skeleton are removed, or the bone is remodeled. So meaning, in order for bone to be remodeled, it needs to calcify. And it calcifies through the use of osteoclast. Osteoclast. Okay, so the osteoclast will will calcify the bones. Okay? Any questions so far? Stay lang with Papa.
None, Doc.
None so far? Bones. Okay. So, nara diha, all the kwan are found. Hematoma phase, the formation of the cartilage and the affected area. By the way, students, you have an equivalent lab manual for this. Please answer it, ha? Ako naman nag-answer sa akong own question sa lab manual, oy. But anyway, you will get it maybe next week or this week. Okay? So, kuan. Don't push anything. Okay, so any questions so far for the for the stages of fracture healing? Any questions so far? If wala na, let's continue. Okay. Wala na? Questions? Guys, okay ra? Silence is... Mahadlok na ko ng silence ani na batch. Kay hilong kay mo pag discuss niya. Basig wala. Gagmay kay mong score, ha? Doon sa man. Wala ra? Sige.
Wala ra, Doc.
Let's continue. So, lastly, blood formation. Blood is formed in the bone marrow located in the large bones of the femur, and they are stimulated by different factors that will be discussed later. Okay? So, what are the common cells found in your blood?
Hepatocytes.
Unsa?
Joke lang.
Hepatocyte ka diha ron? Unsa? Erythrocyte. Ano na erythrocyte? Ano na erythrocyte? Anyone? Ay, may taghinay lang yun nilang internet. Makatubag yun din sila. RBC o WBC. Erythrocyte are RBC. Leukocytes are your WBC. It's in the word erythro meaning red, leuko meaning white. Okay? The stimulant for RBC or erythropoiesis is your... Sa may mo stimulate sa erythropoiesis? Your erythropoietin. What forces the body to release erythropoietin? That is low oxygen levels. Okay? How about for your the formation of leukopoiesis or white blood cell? What stimulates white blood cell levels? Anyone? What stimulates the formation of white blood cells? Infection will lead to the release of what substance? So man na substance. Ansa?
Neutrophil.
Not really neutrophil. So infections will promote, depende sa unsa na infection. But it will release cytokines. Ano naman ang cytokines? Those cytokines will go into the bone marrow and that will tell the bone marrow to produce more kanang white blood cells. So example, cytokines like colony stimulating factor. So igato na sa bone marrow, it will release a certain type of white blood cell depending on the needs of the body. So kung RBC, that is low platelet, low oxygen levels. For WBC, that is your cytokines. How about for your kanang platelet? What stimulates platelet formation?
Low blood levels, Doc.
Low platelet levels actually create or promote thrombopoiesis. Thrombopoiesis is due to a substance called thrombopoietin that is released by your liver. Okay, so erythropoiesis, erythropoietin, kidney. Kanang for white blood cells, leukopoietin, cytokines, and it cytokines released by different cells, so it will lead to kanang leukopoiesis. For thrombocytes, thrombopoietin is released by the liver. So constant ra jud ng thrombopoietin. So it is released constantly by the liver to produce a large amount of platelets. Okay, any questions? Wala right questions? Thank you. Human na ang kuan. So let's have a short 10-minute break. By the way, please download respiratory system while nag-break ta. Okay? So I'll give you some time to kanang prepare the slides. Okay? So pakitan ka mo sa kuan ha, na naman mo sa Google Drive, right? So what's up? Respiratory systems. Okay, so let's start. So primary function of the respiratory system is the function of the respiratory system is the transport and exchange of carbon dioxide between the tissue in the outside environment. Okay, it maintains the acid-base balance, acts as a form of thermoregulation for some animals. By the way, do you know what's the acid-base balance, students? Asa mo to akong fan? Asa akong fan? Atong kuan. Okay. Oh. Do you know what acid-base balance is, students? Students? Wala mo ba si acid-base balance? So it is a system of balances that maintains the pH of the body. So unsa mga ideal pH sa body? So 6.8 to 7.2 2. So dapat ma-maintain lang na inana ka delicate ang pH balance sa body. So the respiratory system is primarily also responsible for balancing the pH of the body. Okay? And of course, the respiratory system acts as a form of thermoregulation in some animals. So an example of this is your dog that pants every time na mag-overheat siya, or the animal is hyperthermic, it will pant in order to correct the difference in temperature. Okay? So the first part of the external of the respiratory system are the external parts. So you have your nose or your nares, your nasopharynx, your larynx and syrinx, trachea, and of course your bronchi. So let's delve to them one by one. Okay, so the nose of domestic animal comprises of the parts of the face, rostral to the eyes, dorsal to the mouth. The external nares or nostrils are the external openings of the respiratory tract. Their size and shape are highly variable among domestic farm animals and are largely dedicated by the nasal cartilage that form this most rostral end of the respiratory tract. In addition to this, the respiratory tract is made up of hyaline cartilage. The pig also possesses a rostral bone at the tip of its flat nose or dish-like nose. So, kuan, in different animals, unsa ganay lang nag-separate sa duha ka kuan, duha ka nostrils? What do you call that? In animals, what separates the two kuan parts of the nostrils? Ala, anyone?
Philtrum, Doc. Ay, joke.
Nasal septum. Sa sod, ang duha ka cavity, nasal septum. Ang sa gawas mo nang gitawag og philtrum. Very good, ha? Philtrum of nasal septum. So inside the nose is actually nasal cavity. So it is an opening in your nose. Okay? It is a chamber in your nose. Okay? So the nasal cavity is lined with mucous membranes that cover a number of scroll-like conchae or turbinates. Okay, so the turbinate bones arising from the bones of the lateral wall. The vascular mucous membrane covering this conchae helps to warm and humidify inspired air. The mucous membrane investing the ethmoid conchae is the olfactory epithelium and contains the sensory endings of the olfactory nerve. Okay? So, students, the nasal cavity is lined with mucous membrane that covers the number of scroll-like conchae or turbinates. Okay? So, sa ganitong animal that we can directly see the turbinates. So, ito na animal, guys. We can see the turbinates. Anyone? So guys, in pigs, you can actually see the turbinates. Kitaan ko mga. Wait, yan na lang. Nambot asa itong picture na wa. Anyway, so the turbinates are bone-like structures or rigid that that decrease the turbinates as the or the turbulence of the air as it enters through the respiratory system. So para ma-reduce ang turbulence, mao nang turbinates. Okay? So the vascular mucous membrane covering this conchae help to warm and humidify inspired air. The mucous membranes investing to the ethmoid is the olfactory epithelium. So aside from being covered with turbinates, it is also covered by kanang epithelial cells that help kaning na sila different properties, okay? So they are the opening of the nose and contains the bony ridges called the turbinates. Okay? So the air turbulence, guys, is to reduce the force of the air as it moves through the respiratory system. Okay? So the hardest part of your respiratory system is actually your turbinates. Without the turbinates, students, there will be no force that would in stop the air from injuring the inner lining of the inner lining of the nose. So very important na guys na na-adjoy turbinates ang animals. Okay? They contain goblet cells that produce mucus. The microscopic image of the nose tissue contains hair-like projections called cilia. So in your histology students, unsa may kuan? What do you call the tissue of your nose? Or how do you describe the morphology of the tissue of your nose? Anyone? Unsa may histology sa inyong nose?
Wala pa dira na part.
Lo, di ko kadungog kay hinay kay akong kuan.
Wala pa dira na part sa history, Doc.
Ano to? Chat?
Wala pa dira na part sa history, Doc. So, dito may ka.
Sorry, Mr. Godoy?
Wala pa dira na part sa history, Doc.
Okay. So it is simple stratified columnar ciliated epithelium. So simple stratified stratified columnar. So sayop na nas Doc Phil. Stratified columnar ciliated epithelium. Okay? So the cilia actually increase the surface area of the kanang nose. That increase in surface area will capture debris for that are trying to enter the nose. So kanang hair-like projections are what? The hair-like projections are called cilia, and they help increase the surface area so that it can capture any debris. In order for those debris to stick into the area, it is lined also with goblet cells. Okay? The goblet cells will secrete the mucus needed to capture and stick to the debris that is trying to enter the nose. Okay? The nose also contains a plexus of blood vessels. Do you know what a plexus is? Think of it as a network of blood vessels. The nasal plexuses contains blood vessels that help humidify the air. So they heat the air before entering the rest of the body. So very important na function of the nose. Without that is the reason why if you're hit in the nose, what is the medical term gani for nosebleed? What's the medical term for nosebleed? Anyone? What's the medical term for nosebleed? That is called epistaxis. So mag-nosebleed mo because there is a lot of sensitive nasal plexuses, which is a network of blood vessels used to humidify the air. So once ganing maigo na yung nasal plexuses, you will suffer epistaxis or nosebleed. Okay, did you follow? Follow na guys. So unsa kita mo produce og mucus?
Ang goblet cells, Doc.
Ah?
Goblet cells.
Goblet cells. What increases its surface area? Ano itong makapa-increase sa surface area? Hello. Increase the surface area. The cilia. Next. Kung sa ganitong magkuan, helps humidify the air and is a network of blood vessels.
Plexus of blood, Doc.
So nasal plexuses. Okay. So aside from that, the nose also produces IgA, so immunoglobulin A, since it's an epithelial surface, lysozymes, and mucin. So lysozymes are specific types of enzymes that help digest and destroy bacteria in the epithelium of the nose. So very important na yung nose, guys, ha? That is why, Kwan, you should stop picking on it. Naka-G mo. Stop picking on it.
Mao dyan ang spelling sing lysozymes, Doc.
Yes. Lysozymes. Di lang siya lysosomes. Lysosomes is the kanang kuan. Kanang sito kani kaning katong organelle kana lysozymes, enzymes na siya. Pero i-double check lang ninyo para sure, okay? Then mucin, guys, what is mucin? Mucin is the one responsible for the bacterial inhibitory properties of your kana mucus. Okay? Let's continue. The pharynx, after the nose, further down is the pharynx. Okay? Now guys, the pharynx is the farthest part of your mouth. Do you agree? Na-G mo, nag-joke ko. Pharynx ba? Far. Alam, mas naka-G. Pharynx ba? Far. Okay? So, students, we talked about the nose and the nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is is above the kanang buccal cavity. Okay? So, the buccal cavity and the nasal cavity are separated by a structure called the palates. The palate is composed of the hard palate, which is rostral, in the soft palate, which is kanang caudal. The nasal cavity and the buccal cavity will end at the back of the mouth. The back of the mouth is also called the pharynx. The pharynx is both a passageway of air and food. Okay? One, lying caudal to the oral and nasal cavities. Opening into the pharynx include the two caudal nares, the two auditory tubes. By the way, what is the auditory tube, students? Do you know the auditory tubes, or also known as the eustachian tubes? Unsa man na sila? Kuya, natumiro ba yan, guys? I was thinking.
Ear and oral cavity, Doc.
Very good. The eustachian tube or the auditory tube is what connects your oral cavity and your kanang and your ears, or the kaning middle ear. Okay? Or the otitis basta middle ear. It connects the middle ear to your mouth. Okay? So, very important ng auditory tube. So, there are 5 openings of the pharynx. The mouth, the two nares, and the two auditory tubes. Okay? So, the walls of the pharynx are supported by striated muscles whose action assists in deglutition and swallowing. So, don't worry guys about the swallowing part. We will discuss more about the pharynx in terms of swallowing when we reach the digestive system. In normal circumstances, foodstuffs and liquids are directed into the esophagus from the mouth and vice versa, with a coordinated movement of pharyngeal and laryngeal muscles that excludes the substances from the airway. So the nasopharynx connects the nose and the rest of the throat, or the pharynx, contains the tonsils that become inflamed when pathogens try to enter. Okay? So, students, there is a protective lymphatic tissue in the tonsils or in the pharynx called the tonsils. The tonsil form a ring called the ring of Waldeyer. Ako i-type ha, Waldeyer, the ring of Waldeyer. The ring of Waldeyer, students, is a type of structure that is formed by the circular motion of the tonsils. They prevent certain substances from entering the tonsils. With the ring of Waldeyer in place, it will protect the kuan from the pathogens that could enter the tonsils. Okay? So after the ring of Waldeyer, we also have the kuan, kawag ani? That the ring of the tonsils, the ring of tonsils is called the ring of Waldeyer. The tonsils are also part of your mouth. Do you know what mouth is? Dili ka nang sabihin na mouth ha. Mouth stands for mucus-associated lymphatic tissue. Unsa na sila? Mucus-associated lymphatic tissue. That mouth will assist the kuan, the tonsils will assist in protecting the kuan against certain pathogens. That is why, students, if you are sick or if you're sick or there is an infection going on in your body, the first thing the tonsils will do is to become inflamed. Inflammation of the tonsils will prevent any more pathogens from entering, and it also mobilizes the immune cells that are found in the tonsils. Because, students, your tonsils are actually they act like bases for certain groups of white blood cells. Okay? Did you follow so far for the nasopharynx? The oropharynx, gani guys, we'll just discuss that during the digestive system. Any questions so far? No more questions, so let's continue. So this is the, like I said, the nasal cavity is dorsal to the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity is ventral to that of the nasal cavity. They are separated by the hard structure called the palate. There are two types of palates, the hard palate and the soft palate. The structure, the nasal and oral cavity will form the pharynx. The pharynx has 5 openings. 2 nasal openings, 2 auditory tubes or eustachian tubes, and 1 buccal opening. The pharynx is lined with lymphatic tissue called the tonsils. The ring of tonsils are called the rings of Waldeyer. The tonsils are part of a group of tissue called the mouth or the mucus-associated lymphatic tissue. The pharynx is a passageway for both the food and water and air. Did you follow? Follow mo, students? Follow mo? Let's continue. Next is the larynx. So, after the pharynx, guys, there is the glottis. The glottis is part of the group of the structure called the larynx. Okay? So, in different types of animals, the larynx is different. For mammals, it's called a larynx. For birds, it is called a syrinx. Okay? The job of the larynx, guys, is to prevent. The larynx is the passageway for air only. Again, the larynx is a passageway for air only. It is the job of the larynx to prevent food and water from entering the respiratory system. In short, it acts like a gatekeeper. So for mammals, we have a larynx, which is a structure made by, it's a rigid structure, box-like structure that is made up of cartilage. Okay? The cartilage can be paired or unpaired depending on the anatomy of the animal, but it is made up of flap-like structures. Again, The larynx prevents food and water from entering the respiratory system and only allows air to enter. It is made up of a flap-like structures composed of cartilage. So if larynx ganitong storyahan, flap-like structure. If syrinx gani, a series of tube-like structures. Again, larynx, flap-like structures, mga flaps, while kaning syrinx, tube-like structures or tubes. Did you follow? Follow mo, guys? Very good. So another say the larynx primary function is to regulate the size of your airway to protect it from closing, to prevent substances other than air from entering the trachea. It is possible to increase the diameter of the air passageway during forced inspiration. So later on, we will learn more about that. Okay? So the larynx and the syrinx. The larynx or voice box separates the throat and the trachea and the esophagus. Acts like as the material guardian of the respiratory system. Acts as an organ of phonation. So, when you say phonation, guys, unsa man ang phonation? The ability of an animal to communicate using sounds. So, phonation is the ability of an animal to communicate using sounds. Okay? So, ano na guys, when it comes to phonation, the syrinx is superior to the larynx. That is why parrots and some birds can easily imitate the human speeches. They're not actually talking, they're just imitating the sounds that they hear. Okay? Compared to us, we cannot imitate the sounds of the birds, diba? Kung imitation sa birds, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. So I cannot imitate it because the syrinx is better compared to the larynx. Okay? So again, larynx, cartilaginous folds. So it's made up of folds of cartilage, while the syrinx is made up of tube-like structures. Next is the trachea. The trachea extends from the caudal ends of the larynx to the bronchi. It is formed by a series of C-shaped hyaline tracheal cartilage that provide cross-sectional rigidity to resist collapse and are joined one to another by elastic annular cartilage. Okay, so kita na mag-trachea, wala pa. So, mo na siyang kuan. So, tracheal ring and annular cartilages. Okay? The trachea is formed by a series of C-shaped kuan by elastic annular cartilage that permit the trachea considerably flexible. The trachea is also called your windpipe because it's a pipe specifically to allow air to enter. It is protected by the larynx, caudally, kanang, not caudally, cephalic. So it's protected by the larynx. Okay? So the dorsal side of the trachea is completed by a connective tissue and is also called the M. trachealis muscle. Students, in mammals, the trachea is made up of incomplete rings. Okay, so the tracheal cartilage is an incomplete ring in mammals. That incomplete ring is made up of the trachealis muscle. That incomplete area of the ring or the trachealis muscle is there to provide or to accommodate the movement of the esophagus. So in mammals, incomplete ring. For birds, it is a complete ring. So wala sa birds, it's a complete ring. For mammals, it's an incomplete ring. And for mammals, the incomplete part is lined by a specific muscle called the M. trachealis muscle. Do you follow? Okay, so let's continue. The trachea is the main passageway of air into the bronchi and lungs, covered in hair and mucosae, so cilia and mucosa. In many animals, it is C-shaped and composed of cartilage to accommodate the esophagus. It is also called the windpipe. Next is the bronchi. The bronchi are the conducting tubes of air which branches out of the structure of the lungs and terminate into smaller structure called bronchioles. The organ may become inflamed and full of mucus in a condition known as bronchitis. Dili na bronchioles guys ha? Bronchitis. Okay? So, bronchitis. So, if the in this picture, the trachea is ring shaped while the kaning bronchi are not ring shaped. They are made up of smooth muscles. Okay? So, going back, the larynx is made up of what structure? Students? It's made up of
Flap-like, Doc.
huh?
Flap-like structures.
Made up of what material?
Cartilage.
Cartilage. Very good. How about the windpipe? It's made up of
Trachealis muscle.
Ayo, the windpipe is made up of
Tracheal cartilage, Doc.
huh?
Hyaline cartilage.
Hyaline cartilage. Okay? But there is a muscle that is made up of, it's called that trachealis muscle, the incomplete part of the kanang tracheal rings. Okay? Pangutanon ko mo guys. Pharynx. The muscle in the pharynx, skeletal or smooth? Smooth or skeletal?
Skeletal, Doc.
Huh? Skeletal because you can control your swallowing. How about in the one that is attached to the flaps of the larynx?
Smooth, kaya di ma-control.
No, that the glottis part is made up of smooth, while the other parts are actually made up of kaning skeletal muscles. That is why, students, you can actually control the pitch of your voice because see, I can make my voice very deep because it is made up of skeletal muscles ang naka-attach sa flap. The actual glottis noon, it's not made up of skeletal muscles. How about the M. trachealis? M. trachealis, smooth or skeletal?
Smooth, Doc.
It's actually made up of smooth muscle. Smooth muscle ng M. trachealis because you cannot control it. How about the bronchi is made up of what muscle? Oh, it's made up of muscle material. It's made up of muscle, specifically smooth muscle because you cannot control the diameter of your bronchi. Right? Correct ba? True or false? By the way, students, what part of the autonomic nervous system controls the bronchi? Or what part of the brain controls the bronchi? Anyone, students? So, the bronchi are controlled by your autonomic nervous system. And in the autonomic nervous system, for the sympathetic, it is controlled by your beta 2 receptors. That is why, students, if you're having mo-constrict ang bronchi sa inyong patient, you need to give a beta 2 agonist that will stimulate the sympathetic response causing bronchial dilation. Isa may hubakon diri guys. Isa may hubakon. Walay hubakon diri.
Nido.
Ikaw, Rachel, di ba? Hubakon ka. So, if maglisod ka ginawa, you're given a beta-2 agonist in order to promote the dilation of the muscles of your bronchi. Okay? So, next. Padayon pa ta. Any questions on those structures so far? So, wala na question guys. Sabot mo tanan. So, we will end with this topic. Lung compliance. So, before ta, so let us discuss the dead air space, okay? So, students, you will hear the word dead air space a lot in the respiratory system. So, you will hear the word dead air space a lot in the respiratory system. Later on, you will learn about physiologic dead air space, anatomical dead air space, and just dead air space. Pero Doc, what is dead air space? Okay? The respiratory system, as discussed kaniha, it is made up of many parts. Okay? But the only part of the all the parts of the respiratory system, only one part of the respiratory system actually performs gas exchange. Again, the respiratory system is made up of multiple parts. But of all those multiple parts, only one part of the respiratory system is responsible for the responsible for kaning gas exchange. The only part of your respiratory system that is capable of gas exchange is your alveoli. Anything that is not the alveoli is what you call dead air space. Again, the parts of the respiratory system that is not able to perform gas exchange is called a dead air space. Okay? So later on, when you say anatomical dead air space, that area cannot perform gas exchange due to anatomy. So from the nose to the lungs to the bronchi is a dead air space. Specifically, an anatomical dead air space. Because of how their structures are made, no gas exchange will happen in this part of the animal's body. Do you follow so far?
Pardon, Doc, from the nose to the unsa gato, Doc?
From the nose to the bronchi. To the bronchioles yun na guys. That's an dead air space, meaning why gas exchange. What type of dead air space? Anatomical dead air space, meaning by their anatomy and morphology alone, gas exchange will never happen because those areas are designed not to perform gas exchange. Do you follow? Follow mo students? Okay. So next is the lungs. So the lungs is the most important organ in your respiratory system because it is where gas exchange happens. Okay. The lungs is roughly conical with base resting against the cranial side of the diaphragm and the apex or in the close of the thoracic inlet. So guys, ninakikuha na because that's anatomy. The medial aspect of each lung features indentations called the hilus or principal bronchus Lymphatics and nerves enter to leave the lung. Lobes of the lungs are defined as presence of lobular secondary bronchi. The lobes are grossly indistinguishable in most species by deep fissures in the ventral and so we all know that in different animals, different ang ilahang lung anatomy. Okay, so di na kayo mag-discuss anang lung anatomy. For the sake of physiology, the lungs is the organ where gas exchange occurs. The organ where gas exchange occurs. But what cell does gas exchange occur? Specifically the alveoli. Again, the lungs is the organ where gas exchange occurs. The cell where gas exchange occurs is called the alveoli. So be careful of those two information. Okay? So these are the lungs of an animal. So sa anatomy ninyo, you already discussed that. Okay? Next is the pleura. The thoracic cavity is lined by a serosa, the pleura. The smooth surfaces of the pleura are lubricated with a scant amount of serous fluid. So students, between your thoracic cavity and your lung tissue is a small sheet of tissue called the pleura. What does the pleura do exactly? The pleura is responsible. Listen na, the pleura is responsible for the protection of the lungs. Because it encapsulates the lungs and is filled with a fluid called the pleural transudate. Transudate na siya ha, dili na fluid. The pleural transudate allows the pleura or the lungs to move in a frictionless environment during breathing. Okay? So when you look at it, the pleura is made up of a thin lining or tissue that is filled with pleural or serous transudate or pleural transudate that allows the lung to move in a frictionless environment during breathing. Okay? So the pleura consists of two separate sacs, one surrounding each lung. So you have your visceral pleura and your parietal pleura. So guys, unya na lang na sa inyong anatomy ha. Pero appeal po na. So the cavity between the parietal and the visceral pleura is a potential space called the pleural cavity. Normally contains nothing except a small amount of serous fluid called the pleural transudate that introduce fluid or gas into the pleural space, compress and may collapse the lungs associated with that space. So guys, ayaw sa mga na, later na siya, ha? So, any questions so far? Wala rin questions? So, lung volumes. Okay? So, wala rin questions guys about the pleura? Pila ka layers inyong pleura? How many layers of your pleura are there? How many layers of the pleura are there?
Duha, Doc.
2 layers, the visceral and the parietal pleura, and 1 space, the pleural cavity. Okay? The fluid inside is called, sa ganito tawag sa pleural, kuan? What do you call that space? What do you call that fluid?
Pleural transudate, Doc.
Very good. Dili pleural fluid. Pleural transudate. My God. Dako dyan kayo nag-score to Renier. Igbalik na ko. Kay, sige, answer. Karang uban diha. Ambot ninyo. Okay? So now let us discuss lung volumes. Okay? So lung volume refers to the certain amount of air that enters the lungs at a given moment or time. Okay? So students, dapat makabaw mo sa different types of air that enters the lungs at different units of time. So first is the tidal volume. Okay? So the amount of air which enters in one cycle. By the way, what is one cycle of breathing? What is one cycle of breathing?
Inhale, exhale, Doc.
One inhale and exhale is one cycle of breathing. Very good. The amount of air that enters one inhale and exhale is called a tidal volume. Okay? So, that tidal volume is responsible for the air that you are going to breathe that enters your body because it is the amount of air that enters through one cycle of inhalation and exhalation. Next is the inspiratory volume. Okay? The inspiratory volume is the amount of air forcefully inhaled during maximal inhalation. Okay? So, guys, di lang kay ko ni itudlo, kay di kay ko ninyo matudlo if dili personal. So, sa lab dapat tani itudlo. Okay? For now, just learn about this different volume. So, dapat man good, when I say inspiratory volume, you inhale, then you forcefully exhale after. Okay? So, kuan. Kanang mana siya. Okay? Next, expiratory volume, the amount of air that can be forcefully expelled from the lungs. So, if you forcefully exhale on the lungs or exhale in the lungs, that is your expiratory lung volume. By the way, students, we have an exercise about spirometry. So, diha na to makita ang ang maximum inhalation, maximum inspiratory volume, and etc. Okay? Next, residual volume is the amount of air remaining in the lungs after exhalation. Okay? So, after you exhale, there is still air left in the lungs that keep your lungs that keep your lungs inflated. So that is called your residual volume. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, Ramo guys? Okay pa ta? Gamay na lang kayo mo. B, let me hear from Kuan B. Angel, okay ra ka Angel?
Kira, Doc.
How about si Miss Tipa? Are you okay, Miss Tipa?
Okay ra, Doc.
Very good, ha? So you keep this up ha, para kanang okay na ta, ha? So, let's continue. So, kanang mga capacities, guys, later na lang ta na. We will talk about it more sa laboratory. Okay? You just read about those different lung capacities. Next. So, guys, nanata sa respiration. Okay? So, mag-laboratory ta maybe next week. Laboratory ta next week. Baka-laboratory pa ta next week. Di na. Ako talaga akong kalendaryo, be. Kaya pa. 'Di ba? Baka laboratory pa ta next week, no?
Kaya pa ba?
Kaya pa. Kaya.
Pwede lang. End of January pa po ng P1.
Ha?
End of January pa po ng P1.
And pata sa January magkuan?
Murag ata.
Pero sa yung P1, gimove ba ito nila?
Wala pa may kapag sa pinahulid ng schedule ko tayo.
Magutanaw na lang ko sa calendar, mangutana ko. Namas Doc Erla, mangutana ko. Namas Doc Erla sa Siburon. Don't worry. Di bala na. Okay? So, kuha na. So, paano ta? Kana ventilation sa ta, ha? So, when you talk about ventilation, students, you're talking about the movement of air. Okay? Inspiration, when air enters the lungs. Expiration, when air exits the lungs. So, ventilation in the body is controlled by the brain through the phrenic nerve, and through the pneumocystic center. So asam ng pneumocystic center, that is the pons. Okay? So, excuse me sa Mesa. Excuse me sa. Miss Woolbright. Tapos Miss Woolbright dia. Miss Woolbright.
Yes, Doc.
Miss Woolbright, unsa ka oras sa matog school ugma?
10 a.m. Doc na may helmet.
Sige, kanang Miss Woolbright, nako ipatod later tonight ha. Palihog na lang kog sa school yatag ni Sir Mike. Hapon pa man nila gamiton.
Again, Doc. Sorry, Doc. Kaya nahinay ang signal.
Nako ipadaba sa clinic. Ipatod ako sa clinic. Ika na lay hatag ni Sir Mike. Okay?
Sir
Palihog ka.
Mike, okay.
Thank you. Maro to.
Sige, Doc. Okay, Doc.
Okay, so kalit lang ha, nasa tiwason. Okay, so students, let's talk about respiration. So respiration is the ventilation is the movement of air. So from the word venti, that's where you get the word na by ventilation diri, meaning is there air movement in the area. Okay? So inspiration is not your boyfriend or girlfriend na. Inspiration is when air enters the lungs. Okay? So if nagan ladies, if nagay mo ingon ninyo that inspiration, ayaw jud na sila sugta. Because they're just saying that you're just hot air. Ka-inspiration mo ka. Okay? So, expiration is when air exits the lungs and ventilation is in the body is controlled by the phrenic nerve. Okay? So, ventilation is the process by which air is moved, inspiration and out, expiration of lungs. Alveolar ventilation is more specific term that refers to the movement of air into the The alveoli are the primary site of gas exchange in the lungs, so alveolar ventilation is the critical component of this function. Panting is a mechanism to dissipate heat. Panting is characterized by an increase of ventilatory rate but with a reduce in tidal volume. So students, panting is a good example of which you are breathing fast but there is no tidal volume. There is no increase in your tidal volume. So if magpant ang animal, that doesn't mean the animal has difficulty in respiration or there is an increase in oxygen demand. Panting is a result of rapid breathing in order to anticipate the release of heat, not in order to increase the oxygenation within the body. Okay? So, let's continue. As described earlier, there is no physical connection between the airway is considered to be anatomical dead air space. Physiological dead air space include the anatomical dead air space and any alveoli which normal gas exchange cannot occur. So, di ba, ganiha, we talked about dead air space. Dead air space is an area where no gas exchange occurs. Only alveoli can perform a gas exchange. If that area does not allow if that alveoli does not allow gas exchange, that is what you call a physiological dead air space. Okay, so a physiological dead air space happens to alveoli which do not perform gas exchange. Okay? So, this is the chest wall during and the diaphragm. Okay? So, let us begin with inspiration. Okay? So, inspiration requires ATP and energy. The muscles of the around the lungs contract, elongates, causing decrease in intrathoracic pressure. Okay? So, students, sorry, itudloan ni diri sa dili online eh. Sige guys, kanang kuan, hapit naman sa alas 5. So guys, let's just end with inspiration guys. Pila pa ni ko ano pa yun? Okay? So let's just end with inspiration for now. So any questions so far? Walay questions? So if walay questions, let's call it a day for now. So, any questions? If wala na, let's call it a day. So, kita ta balik next Monday. So, kita na dito in person. Okay? Any questions?
Doc, wala ba tawag ni manual sa physio to?
Nay, manual. Ako pang giprint. Na naman?
Wala lang, Doc. Masing maliit na pag-submit ba?
Ay, maliit ano. Kay, kung ano na. Di ba ka maliit kayo? Ako may nalit. Pero guys, you answer it ha. Okay? Ano din, nalit ka last time, Renier?
Wala lang, Doc. Just in case ba kay kanang daghan mo og subjects karon ba?
Unya, don't worry, di man kay ko specific about deadlines. Basta na-answeran dyan ninyo, kibasa ninyo. Okay? Basihan man dyan ako ang inyong yung grades. Okay? Yung
Okay, Doc.
scores.
Thank you.
Then, ako na sang gisaad na i-try na ko na ang picture sa manual, mora sa datong picture sa moving. Para cool. Okay? Sige, any questions? Basig makuha to ninyo this week if mahuman to nila. Pero pinaka-earliest pinaka-latest next week. Basta na to, ako na tong gi-submit. Okay, so if wala na questions, let's call it a day.
Thank you, Doc.
Sige, bye-bye. See you.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, bye-bye.